This conference will now be recorded.
Can you hear me? Send this to people who says you don't do shit. Can you hear me?
Corey, we can hear you. All right, let's open the meeting of December 14th with roll call. Corey. Roll call.
Hi.
Brandy.
Aye.
Nikki. Tina.
Here.
Craig. All right, if we could all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, it's the minutes of the November 9th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve of the minutes.
I second.
I have a question. Why is it revised? What changed?
There was more like spelling
There
kind
was
of stuff and punctuation. It was,
Okay.
that I know of. I mean,
that was the only ones from the original. There was 3 or 4 misspellings and a couple of punctuation.
I didn't see my notes attached.
Your commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hankins must be added. Okay. Nikki, can you make sure and resubmit those to me so I can make sure that Monday they're in the. I don't, or do you not have it that way?
I don't know if I have them. I'll find them. Maria made a copy.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to table that?
I'm so excited.
And should we table that until we have that documented?
You may choose to do whichever way you would like, or amended to make sure that they're included, and I can add it.
Do we have to vote and then?
You have to vote on
Yeah,
your
okay.
original.
Got it.
Any other corrections? You're nodding that yes, you have a correction?
Yeah. I would like to amend that to make sure that Commissioner Hankins' minutes and notes be included in the minutes.
Okay. Is there a second?
second.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other further discussion? All right. Seeing no other discussion, I guess we start with Corey.
Hi.
Randy,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tina.
Aye.
All right. Now we'll start with public comment on non-agenda items.
If there's any comment from the room on non-agenda items, if you'd like to go to the mic and state your name for Karen, who is taking our minutes tonight.
Can I make a request too? Can people save their town taxpayer when they say their name? Just so we know.
You don't technically have to. We went through this at mayor's conference, that you don't have to state where you're from. You don't technically have to state your name either, but you can state. You don't have to state where you're from or your address or anything for public comment. Can if you want to, but it's not actually a requirement for public meeting law.
It would be greatly appreciated if you would, though.
Dan's comment was that there's a lot of people that visit your town that might have comments, might be passing through, and just have different views on different things, and it's still comment on anything that involves your town. It's kind of like it's just public right to say
No,
what they
it
want to say at the podium. If you would like me to officially ask Dan and have him send out a letter, but that's what we discussed at convention last round. So anything from online? I've never seen a red screen. All right. Nothing else from the room. And then I'll close public comment on non-agenda items. I moved on to, oh, wait, I better wait. We were on public comment on non-agenda items, if you have anything, before we move on. All right. So the next is the Madison County Sheriff's, and we have been sent 2 different versions from Madison County Sheriff's Office and are under review with legal, and has asked for some supporting documents that I have to request. And that's where that's at.
Who's asking for additional comment or?
I've asked for additional documents. So that's where that's at.
You've asked the sheriff's department for additional, is that it?
John is going to deliver for me a pup for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is when he said he could get to it, to run up to Virginia City with a public records request for some of the documents that I've been asking for from Virginia City and some of the other municipalities. So they should be up at the county. And that'll help with what to present to you. And the Lions Club, now it says lease. Well, I guess any other comment on that? That's kind of the update.
That's all we've got accomplished is change the name of it?
What?
The Lions Club?
Oh, no.
No, we're still on MOU. We're not calling it MOU anymore. What do we call
No,
it?
the
Interlocal agreement.
interlocal agreement is what was presented to us from the sheriff's department.
And that's non-negotiable at this point?
What?
The MOU with the sheriff's department?
Non-negotiable.
Yeah, I thought they were unwilling to negotiate.
That's probably not the best way to make an agreement then.
I was gonna say, are we can negotiate with the interlocal agreement, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you make a comment about what the two options were? So that the public is aware, or do
Oh,
you need
yes.
to request for that?
No. There were two agreements that the county attorney drafted up. One was for additional coverage at 17 mills, and then per hour per officer if we need additional coverage. And the second was for if there was complete replacement of NSPD, what the county could cover at what cost.
What was that?
212, about.
215, 325.
5. Perfect. Any other questions?
So there's been no discussion until, and now you're requesting documents. Is that exactly where we're at with this?
Yes.
Had you previously made a records request?
No.
So we got this on 11/15, so it's almost a month later. We're working on it. I just feel like it's a time sensitive subject. It's already expired.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. Oh,
And please state your name.
Well, I
for
didn't
the
want
record.
that.
Doesn't have to.
Is there some,
Yes.
this is
His
no,
name,
is it-
Yes. No, we don't.
no,
Okay.
you don't technically
Is
have
there
to, but it's great.
serious consideration gonna be that this be finalized before the next year?
I don't know the answer
MOU
to
should
that.
have been straightened out back in July, I believe, or April or something like that. And we're already running in first of the year. Is there any plans on having it, straightened out so we can kind of rest at ease?
I will see what I can accomplish.
Tony Traglia, resident, business owner, taxpayer. My only comment is there's a lot of chatter in this community, and it's about how the police force is going away, right? Officer Matt, resignation is added to that. So I would ask that the town, instead of not responding or not being proactive to the community, issue some type of statement that talks about what's happening. Because the amount of negative comments coming out is a lot. So I just ask that you guys come together with some type of statement that clarifies what's happening, what has happened, and the steps are going forward. And like the gentleman just said, when you expect this thing to be resolved. Thank you.
Which that's been asked. I didn't specifically send the email, but I know Commissioner Hankins did. We're, as town commissioners, we would like to have clarification and communication and know what's going on, because just like that, we've got an entire community that doesn't know what's happening until a resignation is put in. I don't know if this is the time to say it. I had it in my notes for commissioner time, but I think a resignation is an HR matter. And why in the heck into the packets that go public, it got passed around.
I just I've sent multiple emails that have gone completely unanswered, blatantly disregarded, but I get forwarded garbage emails. I've voiced my concern before, and
I will address your concerns under the mayor's comment and mayor's report.
but if I send an email, you can just choose it for a month.
So there will be a respectful tone used. Please. And thank you. And multiple of the commissioners called to check in on things. I spoke with Commissioner Palmerton, Commissioner Abernathy, Commissioner Hardy throughout the last month. I'm incredibly sick. Literally 50% of my days where I can function. It was a phone call. I cannot stare at a screen for a long time. I'm doing the best that I can. If you'd like to come in on a Monday and say, what can I do to help? That would be greatly appreciated. So. We'll kind of wrap them up in the topic that they're according to on the agenda. All right. Anything else on the sheriff's and local agreement? I will try and put together a steps and a timeline.
We are definitely trying to work on this, you guys. We are not trying to drop the ball. I promise you, we are really trying.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. We are definitely trying to work on this interlocal agreement, and we would like to get this settled as soon as possible.
All right. Anything else on that one? Lions Club lease. So instead of doing it as just an agreement, a lease will go through public hearing. Dave Haney is going to come back in January. He has not let me know which, did he know? 11th. So I can set a public hearing day because we have to lease through, we can only lease through public hearing. So I have to notice it for the 11th.
So why did you change the literature to say lease?
Because that's what the Lions Club would like to have.
Okay.
And so a 10-year lease is what we're looking at proposing for the council to review. 10 years, the max that the state allows for a lease agreement. So we'd like for it to go to the max and do it that way.
Hopefully see it next month.
Yes. Dave will be coming all the way back from Arizona. So public hearing on the 11th. He was not sure which of 2 days that he wanted to be at a Lions Club event for. So said he could pick the date.
What was the date that he chose?
January 11th. It's our regular meeting. It'll start with public hearing for lease. Make sure that's publicly noticed. All right, so that's where that's at. And on to the scheduled matters, resolution 595-2023, resolution to approve a camping permit. So in ordinance 155-2023, when we said this is the camping area, in that's chapter 686-3, section B, it also says that by resolution the council needs to approve a permit. So I took all the other requiring factors that were on a permit that were in the ordinance, and put them on a permit. So it's just kind of and finishing that up so that when if somebody chooses to come in, we actually have them something to give them that you've approved through a resolution.
What do
They're kind of just up front. We haven't had anybody so far, so.
They just come to the town hall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I would just like to make a request, if it's gonna be on the agenda, maybe we could have the appropriate paperwork so we can do our homework, so it doesn't look like we're idiots. Got this at 11:15 today. Please.
And that is why I would like to make a motion to table this, as less than 24 hours is not appropriate to make decisions.
Is there a
You need a
second?
second to table it?
Okay.
It's just the permit that we're
Mm-hmm.
approving though, just that document, right?
Yeah.
Did you have that document previously? So
No,
we could look
but-
at it?
No, it's pretty, no, and I agree in that we should have everything when we get a packet. We were able to quickly add some documents, but it's pretty straightforward. But, okay,
All right. Any other discussion?
So was Tina the second on
Did you second to table that?
yeah,
Okay.
All right. Motion to table. That's you first.
Aye.
I,
Corey?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So next item is House Bill 355. Eric's going to give the presentation on that.
Hi, Commissioner, how's it going? Little bit of good news here amongst all this. So, House Bill 355 has come across. That's the State Local Infrastructure Partner Act. SIPA, we'll just refer to this from now on. Basically, this is more money for our infrastructure works, any kind of infrastructure. This is a grant eligible to drinking water systems, wastewater, streets, roads, bridges, landfills, and any kind of public grounds maintenance. So any kind of infrastructure that the town has can be repaired or rebuilt with this or use on. And the nice thing about this is it's not so much to where you're going to need engineers to hand this out. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, you take care of it. And what they are planning, they're allocating $83,336 to the town of Ennis with a 25% grant match, which would be 21,000 around there, a little bit less. And to be used, priority has to go to drinking water and wastewater systems, but you can create your own list. You know, we all know how well I talk, so this is going to go this way.
take your time.
You know, this is something that we need to get. I feel like the town could use this money to help out in several ways, but we need to act pretty quick because the first deadline for this is the 31st of this month.
You just had to solicit your ideas before
Right.
the 31st,
So
which
the
that's
first-
why it was on the agenda this evening, was to meet the requirements of it. You have to first say that you would like to, which present a couple projects, which is right, Eric's here. And then after that, you must hold public hearing. So we would hold public hearing in January to meet the second requirement to decide, for you guys to decide which of the projects you would like to do.
So being this is an infrastructure grant, it's not a huge grant, so you got to kind of, and that's a 25% match of your total project. So really don't want to spend too much time on it because it's not, it's a lot of money, but it ain't too much. But I think we should stick to our priority list on our PERS with this and continue to whittle away at that. And my suggestion would be to start replacing the water meters in town with that whole $83,000. That could buy around 250 new water meters to help us get a better handle on where our water's at. And, you know, our meters are old, so we are losing revenue from them. And just get that back's going to help a lot. And it's going to free up a lot of time for me and the guys.
So you're saying this grant to purchase
Yes, ma'am.
the meters?
But you, I mean, it's up to, that's just my suggestion. You know, you could use this a ton of different ways. I mean, you could use it on anything. It's really pretty broad and easily obtainable grant.
But that's what you plan to present by the
That-
31st?
That is what I plan to do. No, what I'm doing now is just, we're talking about this, so this is the first step of the requirements of this grant, is just to bring this up. We're gonna have this discussion. Department heads or us can get together, write a priority list. And that doesn't have to be done by the 31st. We have until March 24th to file the application, but I would like to get this done in a month at least. It can't be that hard, or it's pretty cut and dry. It can't be. And the one thing they did tell us is not to bother getting engineers involved in this. It's not that complicated. It's not anything like that.
So we wouldn't want to put this portion towards the water tank and all that kind of stuff.
No, I think we have a pretty good plan for that. You know, that's,
Okay.
we have a good direction for that project. And we talked with Joe Pilcher and Colette this week just to make sure we're still going forward with this. And they answered a few questions Nikki and I had about it. So that's pretty much, you could add it to it, but you know, and then honestly, just sticking with the priority list, I think is the best bet for a town right now on the PERS. Knocking those out, getting them whittled down. 250 meters wouldn't be the whole town. That'd be something I'd have to keep working on, which I'm all in. I'm all in now. If I can get 250, you know, so this is going to be something I'm going to want done. Figure out ways to get done real soon.
Eric, do you have a current number of the ones that weren't working that we had to estimate?
40.
40.
So Eric, would this money be used to address items that were, that you had included in the budget that was passed? Or would this money be used?
One of them, yes, this would take a little bit off that because one of these meters, the main meter at Comley has always been under, is it right? We don't know. It's really old. And then we've been using the newer meter that's there, but I've also been told and I just would like to get that all straightened up, cleared up so that we know exactly what's coming out of that well. No more questions, no more ifs and this and that. And to be honest with you, the more of these radio reads that we get out with this correct software, it's going to correct a lot of mishaps, or I don't want to say it, but mistakes in the billing. It's just going to make it automated. It'd be a lot less time. on not only us, but the lady who handles the billing and everything. But again, I just want you all to know, I got to tell you this. If, there's a really good town hall meeting about 355 on the Montana League of Cities website. If you click on resources and drop down to Infrastructure Partner Act, there's a town hall meeting that we all attended, and it's really good. It tells you all everything that you can use this for, which is pretty much any kind of infrastructure in town.
This is Hardy. Is there any talk of using any of these funds for your new office? Or I guess, where is that going to be coming from?
I'm waiting on a clarification on that. I don't think that this bill's for a rebuild and replace or repair. It's not to build. But I think because of the current state of that office, it may fall into that. But I honestly, me personally, I'd rather sit in the shop where I'm at now and have 250 meters than address that issue right now. It's not a very great office environment, but I mean, but again, that's suggestion of, that's just my suggestion. But I urge you to look into this. Maybe watch that town hall meeting. If there's any questions, I mean, I watched it again this morning, and I could answer any questions right now if there's. And that is here's the other thing too. That's a reimbursement grant. So you have to have the money to say we did go with meters. You'd have to have it, then just get reimbursed back.
After you apply for the grant.
I'm going to apply for the grant soon. I would like to know before, because it's kind of up in the air, I just would rather wait to see that you get the grant before you spend the money. Because there is a chance that, oh yeah, you could use it for this, we think, but then it gets sent to someone else and they say different,
Mhm.
I have two questions, I guess. Have we replaced all of the fire hydrants that were not?
Nope. We're on a schedule of 3 a year right now.
Okay.
We have 3 sitting in the yard waiting for the summer, and that is my only plans for water system.
Okay.
Besides the meters or something that I'm planning this summer.
I know in the past we have discussed upgrading the water meters. Is it the system that Kelly was talking about where you can upgrade the water meters so that you guys don't have to actually go to the places and you can just scan it?
Yeah, they're the radio reads.
They are the radio reads. We would just drive around. Basically just drive around. That's it. And then come and hand the office person
Okay, so that is the system in which we're discussing. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you recall how much that project was supposed to cost? I know it was.
Originally, I don't. I can tell you this, at $82,000 is 250 meters. We need, that would only leave us with roughly 200 not radio read meters in town, which is pretty much downtown. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So thanks, Corey, about the office update. We'll just, any more questions? Anybody? I wish. I wish. Boy, I'll tell you when we do get one here, yeah, that's
He'll be
gonna be a
jumping
good
for
day.
joy.
We're gonna have to have a party up here when this happens, you know?
So you said it's a reimbursement program,
Yes,
and the grants and which is, so you're gonna apply for the grant is either gonna be approved or denied. If it's approved, the money is sitting aside. How long does it take to get reimbursed?
So they're talking about reimbursement coming in the fall, next fall.
So you would not start spending money until next autumn?
Right. I personally, until I had the okay, wouldn't spend a dime, you know?
I understand. I'm just trying to figure out what the time frame is that we can have a turnaround so that if we spend $10 tomorrow, are we gonna get the $10
Yeah,
back
and I've
next
been
Friday?
thinking, I've been thinking about that too. And that's another thing, because the summertime is clearly not the time for us three to be running around replacing meters. The fall, the winter is, you know, that would be that prime time. So it actually is probably will work out right. Pretty good. I mean, we're going to have to time a lot of timing there because meters are 10 months out. So there is a little bit of, you know,
Oh, the backlog is 10 months. Yep.
at least. Yeah.
How much time will it save y'all to when you have the radio reads in as opposed to manual?
Us personally, 3 days.
3 days a month?
3 days a month. As far as the
Two men, 3 days?
3 guys, 3 days.
3 guys, 3 days.
You know, Kyle and I
It's huge.
have it down pretty good. When it was he and I, we ran our butts off and did it too. But it's about 3 days for us to get all, come back, get everything, you know, when we're done. It's about 3 days, start to finish.
It's necessary otherwise to
And-
replace the meters anyway.
Yeah, they're due. They're due 10 years ago, or 15, you know, but, and not only that, I don't know how much time this would save the office too. But it's got to help.
Good use of the grant.
And we're sticking to our PER priority list too. You could use this money in several different areas, but I honestly think sticking to that priority list for the purpose is the best way to spend any money that comes up, you know.
Times 3 days, 3 people a year would lend itself, or a month, I'm sorry, a month, would lend itself to you guys getting it done in a more timely
Yeah.
fashion, and also to employee retention possibly, without having people having to deal with dogs in backyards and trying to be a deer.
You know.
I'm the one with the dog, I'm sorry. Yes, but yeah.
I mean, the dogs are pretty much our friend. Well, there's a few that aren't, but we're getting you know, they get used to us.
Eric, do you happen to know what the typical lifespan is of the meters that you're gonna replace?
Offhand, I don't know, but I will tell you this. I repaired one. It took me less than 2 minutes and was less than $20. So they are repairable. They're
New ones?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're a lot easier to repair. The parts are cheaper. And unless the reader itself goes out, then it's a whole new meter. But that generally is pretty good. I think the batteries are 12 to 15 or somewhere in there.
But anything special? Batteries, anything special?
No. That's all of that's replaceable on those. They're pretty universal. I was worried about that one I went and repaired. I was like, well, how's this going to go? And when I was done, I was just, that's amazing. So, you know, and I don't have any other experience with any other meters. So, and the software for them is crazy expensive. for everything else.
And if you consistently worked towards it, you could and had them all towards radio read. You don't even have to have somebody drive around town. In theory, eventually you can have a tower here that just does the read, and then we can input it directly into Black Mountain. That's the long-term goal, but first you have to start with way outdated meters, making sure they all work.
Well, and
So that might be
the biggest thing for me in the meters is
6.
getting a clear picture, correct, accurate picture of where we're actually at, how much we're pumping, what we're using. You know, that's the biggest thing for me. And the lost revenue too. So when meters get old, they give water away as they get older. It never goes the other way. That's just how the meters are.
Eric, what do you estimate the current loss is on the?
Oh, I don't know.
Right, I mean, that's the problem. So it could be as high as 50%, 70%?
I know our water loss. I can tell you that, which is kind of weird too. And another thing, getting the software and all that in the computer, because in the summer, our water loss is a lot higher. You know, I have my theories on why, but you know, our water loss right now is under 10%, which is where you want to be. In the summer, we're around 40.
And water loss is
So
basically
that's the
water that's
loss.
being used but not being billed.
Yeah, so that's your water loss from, you know, what you pumped to what you sold.
Yes.
I think our system's doing really well right now. I was looking at the water loss last month. It was 3%. That's amazing, you know. And when I first came at over 50 something, we did a lot of work the last few years on it. And it's helped a lot. So I'd like to continue on with this infrastructure grant with that. And the money's there. It's obtainable. There's no reason to, you know, not do this. But again, look into it. You can decide you want to use it anywhere else you want to. It's there. That's my suggestion.
Well, thank you for bringing it to us instead of just applying for it, us unknowing.
Yep. So there's other steps that we're gonna have to do too before we even apply. This is just, I mean, we could actually call this our meeting here right now.
You have to hold public hearing. It very officially said public hearing
Okay.
so that's publicly noticed in the paper.
And
so everything else. So that's what I wanted to make sure. It said a preliminary, just a proposal, which Eric we'd met with Colette and Joel and they said, you know, we have a pretty good plan for 1 and 2. You have this year's plan you already have your hydrant purchase for number 3 on your priority list. So 4 is probably the smartest way to go. Continuing on your priority list. It's number 4 and 1, 2. I'll kind of go over and like you said, we got 3 hydrants sitting in the yard for this year's projects.
Thank you very much, Eric. I'm in
Thanks
favor.
very much.
I'm in
Thanks,
favor
Eric.
of you moving forward.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you. I just encourage you to check that town hall meeting out about it. It's going to show you how easily obtainable this is. We don't need to jump through a bunch of hoops for this or anything like that.
It's not like contract a company to write the grant to do the thing. It seems like something
The-
very doable in-house.
The wording on it's a little weird because it was originally wrote with the county involved. They were going to get their cut and then their cut was going to come our way. But then I don't know what happened. The county got cut out of that and it's just coming to us. So the wording may be a little weird if you're reading and looking at it, but that's why.
All right,
Anything else?
on 355. All right, on
Thanks,
to,
sir.
you can just hang out there.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I got pictures
Not,
too.
okay.
No. We all know I'm not going to beat this into the ground. My office is a dog pound. It smells like it. Is it? So a couple months ago, I took on, I'm like, all right, I'm over it. I can't smell it no more. I'm going to kill the wall. I'm going to get it, you know. So I started moving everything away from the wall, and mold everywhere. Mold everywhere. Like, I don't know. You know, for a while, I've been sitting in that office, and it was kind of a joke. But I've never in my life eaten more aspirin than this last year of my life. And I moved out 2 weeks ago, and I'm good. That place is bad. I'm not even going back in there. The mats are still in there, and they need to be moved out
Where's your office at now?
in the shop. Everything's in the shop.
Everything's in the bay.
Is there a heater in there?
We
that
do have a
one.
heater. I don't keep it very warm in there because it's a big heater. So I'm not trying to kill our heat bill, but it's whatever.
In the public works bay.
So I'll just pass these pictures around for you. That's the inside of the wall. So I just got curious about it after I seen the mold, and I kicked a hole in the wall, and it's even worse inside and outside.
And so that office is back there somewhere?
All the way to the west. It looks like a shed.
It was literally the dog pound.
Well, I'm glad you're out of there and feeling better. Shoot, that's awful.
But I think I'm good. You know, well, you say that, but I am working on something that needs to go in my file over. I don't think that should be overlooked. But that brings the problem. I need an office, and I do need an office. I'm telling you, it's just not easy in the shop to get done what I need to do. You know, my 3 days a week, I like to sit in the office, or not like to, but I do. It just needs replaced.
Where are you proposing it go?
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
So I thought originally, let's get a building just pulled in. You know, you can buy the cabin things or something like that. I thought originally, let's look at that because it sounded cheaper. You know, you could insulate it, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, the bigger sheds. Basically, it's a big shed. You just insulate. But after tallying everything up, around 50,000, which I could get done built onto this building for probably the same price. It would just be an attached. But I'm waiting on 2 more quotes just to make sure for that.
So you would
But-
hire it out?
I don't know. Being a town, I think maybe, yeah, somebody, contractor or certified, licensed contractor should probably be building onto this building.
Yeah.
I think that might be an insurance thing. I don't know.
Do you have your permit?
I will.
We do have to file permit because it changes the footprint of the building. And we are looking at actually connecting at the back of that bay is the overall plan. Because then we wouldn't have to add power. The power is easily accessible. And something else.
The sewer's right there too. Let's just not forget the sewer pipe piped into that office. That was, I did plug it, but it didn't fix it,
Yeah.
That was amazing. but I don't have all the quotes I need.
What is
But
the
I
quote you have? You have like a.
Right,
general
45. So that would be moving one of those buildings in on a pad, insulating it, electricity, all that. It's just a shell. So you're going to have to do everything.
quote. And there was a line item in the budget for this, correct?
No. He
That's
found all
why I'm
that
here.
afterwards. So we have to,
The
But
office,
there was a line item in the.
that was for it. I was going to install a heater and air conditioner in there.
Over here in the one that you
Yeah.
just passed
That you're
the
never
pictures
going in
around,
again.
right?
Yeah.
right.
I was going to install a decent heater because that was always a fight. And the air conditioner was a must because of it got it hotter than 70 degrees in there. You were going to smell it really well.
So
You're
where,
fine.
would this come out of your department or the general fund? Where's this money coming from?
I'm sure water and sewer were going to take the brunt of it.
And do we need to do a budget amendment?
$86,000.
Once we
Yes.
get bids and stuff, we're gonna have to. see
You would
what we can
have
do.
to do a budget amendment. You'd have to do all that.
But theoretically, it should just stick from city, water and sewer, not from the general.
It should come.
I think it should come all departments. I think it should come from all departments split up.
We should get an
All of the
estimate
ones-
first before.
yeah.
You
So
know, so we know, kind of have an idea where we stand, I think, before we start.
Yeah, so, and I kind of jumped the gun talking about this today, but I just wanted to get it out there. Let's get a plan going because it needs done.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
Well, I mean,
We'd rather hear about it than.
I don't have all the quotes I really want to. I didn't start thinking about actually building ourselves onto the building until I just figured this would be cheaper. Well, it's not. It just isn't.
So what do we need to do to fix that black mold in there? So.
it's,
Burn it.
Knock
Tear
it
it
down.
down.
there's no
I'm
purpose in that
not
building
doing
anymore.
anything with it. You guys can have at it. I'm not doing anything with it.
Is it connected? Is it connected
No.
to
No.
the rest of the? Oh, okay.
It was the dog pound.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
know
separate
how-
building. It's a completely separate
So-
building.
Nikki, if you just, go ahead. Go ahead and check it out one day. It's
Don't.
open. Everything's out of it. Everything's out of it,
Your maps.
except for the maps, which, they don't need to be out there. No, that stuff needs to be. I do have a heater on in there so they don't crinkle up and get, but
I don't know, can it come out of sewer, water, and the CIP?
It would be,
Cause couldn't that be considered a capital improvement?
it's
We're adding on to the
identified.
building?
Let's get the quotes first and then we'll have
Sounds
to give
Yeah.
you multiple options on how to finance it or how we're gonna do it.
so by next month, our next meeting, I will have all the quotes I need. This will be 3 different contractors. I don't even want to go the route of prefabbed. The cost is not. If it was $20,000 to do all that, yeah, I'd have done it. But it's going to be the same as building onto this building.
So Eric, you're in the shop right now, in an area in the shop,
Mhm.
the open part of the shop.
Yeah, I got the files and everything in there.
Can where that corner or wherever you're at right now at least be somewhat walled in a little bit so that you can have some heat in there?
Okay,
You
I don't, we thought of that and I got to looking around though, but in the wintertime, our shop is jam packed. All our equipment we don't want outside. It's jam packed in there in the winter. And then and everything you bring in is gonna melt. It's all that.
So what about when the ambulance bay is vacant again? Is that?
So we're thinking about the ambulance bay when we talked about that. There's,
So that would take significant amount of work. The ambulance and us trade water all year long back and forth underneath the wall. It's no better than a lot of this building. Water just seeps back and forth. Like if I bring in our truck after plowing, it melts. Yeah, my water seeps into the ambulance bay. If they're bringing it in from a run, their water seeps in our way.
There's no drain out
There is a drain, but it drains the wrong way.
Yeah, literally.
It drains
The drain
towards
is
us,
higher than the
not
rest.
out towards the actual drain.
Yeah.
I thought last week, oh, it's draining the wrong way. We got to looking at it and shoveled it all out, moved everybody out, shoveled it out. And I just went directly to the ambulance bay, which the exit drain for that grate is in our shop. I don't feel like the ambulance bay, I mean, you could do it, but you're going to have to do some work, a lot. And you'll lose that revenue.
Well, I think Brittany was just gonna say, what about upstairs?
That's the same thing.
It'll take a while.
I'm not going to get into that too much, but that's pretty much in the same boat. You'd have to totally redo all that too. I'm not going to get into it.
And then the other thing is like long-term, well, I guess with public works, it'd be fine. You'd still want it to be ADA compliant. I mean, if you're thinking about upstairs as an office, you would have to still have the ability to have an office downstairs for whatever position is open. Maybe not public works because they have certain physical requirements that they have, but that's the other thing to consider long-term is that you can still, it would take a lot to make upstairs compliant.
Like
Oh, boy.
$40,000 worth a
What?
lot? Like $40,000 worth a lot?
Like $40,000.
Like more than that.
Yeah.
You're going to need to redo this.
Eric, how much space you need?
Huh?
How much space you need?
This is 14 by 28 is what I'm proposing. That's 6 foot longer than the old shed, 2 foot wider. Which if you'd have been in there before, it was jam packed in there. Jam packed.
Before you started.
Right. So now it's all out. Everything's out in the shed, just sitting there waiting.
All right, so that's kind of where that's at. Keep in the back of your mind. We'll be looking at those options.
This is Hardy. I was just curious to hear what Eric, you had said you did not, we're not going to explore the option of doing a prefab structure. I was just curious what the reasoning was behind that.
Because the cost was the same, and I would prefer the building be connected to this one. Okay. The cost would be the same, and you're getting what you want at that point, not a shed. You know?
Sure. Understood.
No.
We'd looked at doing like a crow's nest in the shop and thought that was
so
idea.
I've been knocking every idea around I can. And the shop I wouldn't mind, but I just losing the space I do mind. With my plans on getting new equipment in here and all that, I don't want to lose that space.
All right. So you have bids and everything ready for the next month, and then we'll have to look at it.
So yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring that to you to let you know. I think we should do something. You know, if it's undoable, it's not a deal breaker, but it needs done. For me, it's a pretty high priority.
How long would it take to build?
We'd be done before the winter. If we got a jump on it really quick, we could be done before the winter. I think building onto the towns, I mean, I don't know. This one.
Oh, you'd be done before winter's over.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Got it.
I don't think 14 by 28 square boxes, that's going to take some people a couple weeks. See, and that's another thing, Corey. You're not buying another wall if you use part of the building. So, siding, windows.
Upstairs, there's 4 walls, so I don't know why that's out of the question. I was just saying that upstairs there's 4 walls, so I don't know why that is out of the question and going to cost that much.
$88.
Right.
$40,000 just for an elevator.
Nikki,
I thought. if
will
it
you
was
call me tomorrow?
What?
Will you call me tomorrow? I'll let you know why.
And if you want a tour, Eric can give you a tour of his current office space. It's very open. You had to stand there and go like this.
I had really good intentions when this all started. You know, I was just gonna put kills on the wall, and kill the smell. I was on a mission. You know, I was threw everything out of there, and I moved the one map counter out, and it just kind of ruined it. And here we are.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yes. I don't think I have anything else. All right. So, Reimagining Rural program. Karen actually sent this to me. Is basically just a program to increase volunteer engagement. There's no cost. It's through the MSU Extension Office. Its whole goal is 3 meetings in which you get different volunteer clubs together, groups, whatever, and they kind of share resources, and it talks about how to, they walk you through engagement and kind of networking. So I'll stay tonight and fill out that application if you would like to pursue that, but you need to have certain sponsors, and I figured the town would be a good sponsor. I hope Karen wanted that at the library. If not, we can always host it at town hall as well, so that we have the ability for the computers and everything else. But I thought it was a really great idea that she brought it up.
And that application is due tomorrow.
Mhm. Yeah. It's basically like, hey, you want to play and sign up. So
Yeah, and the Lions are interested in.
Dave said,
That, of course.
Dave said, put my signature on there. Well, he already signed it, actually. I was like, okay, I'll keep that for the next bit.
So you can come up with 9 other partners.
You only have to have 3 partners initially, so I'm pretty sure I can come up with 2 first thing in the morning. I was hoping Friends of the Library, and then it wouldn't be that hard to talk to the fire department, because I think they also want recruitment and retention currently and are all volunteers. So that would be a good way too. We can, I don't know, I can fill it out tonight if you want. If you guys are up for that and using this room as a host spot. Yes, any other?
Was this in your packet?
I sent it late, yeah.
Not until I asked.
Yeah, it was added this morning.
Okay. Did you have a chance to look at it? That's my question. Just for everyone out there. This is Karen Ket2. So I did send this to the mayor. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were sick. It fell kind of to the bottom of my priority list. So Reimagining Rural, it's just a good chance to get community partners together in one room, talk about what you want for your community and how to accomplish things. To get us there, there are benefits to this program. It's not a huge commitment, but it is a commitment in that you get together 3 times with your partners and anyone else who is interested. The first presentation is Rural is Changing, Not Dying. The second presentation is New Ways to Get Things Done in Small Towns.
And the third is stories of what's working in small towns. There is a small stipend involved, and there is a facilitator. That's not going to come out right in as many times as I try it. Training for the event. And then MSU Extension is also on hand with community data, population data, trends across the state in rural towns. So it's a good chance to get a landscape view of what's going on in Montana and how other small towns are accomplishing their goals.
So this is Hardy. Karen, is there, Montana State's gonna send over a moderator to facilitate like a discussion?
So Extension has facilitators available, or you can choose someone from your community that will receive training.
Okay.
So do you have two partners at this point? You need a third or?
So right now, if there are any entities here that can speak on behalf of their organizations, I do apologize for the last minute ask. So yes, we have 3 available. If you're willing to either speak up for your organization or talk with them and then get back to me.
You need to know tomorrow. I'm thinking of the chamber.
No, we don't have to know tomorrow. I have 3 committed organizations. The others are potential organizations. Yeah, I wouldn't ask unless you had a chance to speak with your groups and your boards. Yeah.
Takes a little bit of time.
Yes, yes. So either as a business entity or the chamber, on behalf, that's really up to us. I would like to form groups. Yeah. It just seems like a good opportunity to just open some dialogue.
Thanks, Karen.
So we can make it the whole list and join them ahead of time. But yes, pursue.
Mhm.
I can do training or to get with you or if you want to. I don't want to nominate you.
No, so it can be worked out. It's
Yep.
really, and it's just, yeah, and this doesn't have to happen either if you're unsure about it. It is an application, and I'm not sure how many they're giving out.
Is it similar to the Montana Main Street program?
I only know enough about the Main Street program to be dangerous in that I think Montana Main Street is more business oriented. This is community partnership and volunteer oriented. Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on that one?
It doesn't seem
Do
bad.
you need a vote? Do you need a motion? Let me see what I'm saying here. Oh. I motion to apply for the Reimagining Rural Virtual Gathering 2024 application. Is that what you're looking for?
Sure.
Okay.
That's the gist of it.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? All right. Commissioner Hankins, you were up.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Corey?
All right.
Aye.
All right. On to department reports.
In there.
Oh, thanks.
I should have done that.
Oh no, yeah, I should have just stayed over there. Okay, got it. A very short written report this month. It's been a really good month, busy month at the library. We had the Engel and Vokers actually sponsored a ski film fundraiser for the Friends of the Library. That was a fantastic night. And our other event this month was a stroll. It was a great evening. Thanks to everybody for coming out. It's probably one of the best nights of the year to have everybody come in and come through the library. We have some more programming this month, and then we're taking the last 2 weeks, I guess that is almost coming up, off to kind of regroup for the new year, plan out some Friday programming. Our automatic doors have been installed, but the electricity isn't hooked up yet. So we're almost there. So the first phase of that accessibility grant is almost in place, which is really nice.
Is that for the back doors?
Both sides, the
Okay.
north and south.
Yeah, those back doors were really scary.
Yeah, it fixed all of the door issues when they put the new hinges in. So it's really nice. Yeah, we took care of a few things there. We do have a draft of the strategic plan out. Right now it's in the board's hands. I'll get you a copy as soon as we've had board review and a staff review so we can make an action plan attached to that strategic plan. And I've also finished some database reporting and grant reporting from the year. I don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it now, but I guess maybe I'll request an agenda item for the next meeting. Something that came out of all our conversations with the strategic plan were two things, parking, and parking. I'm not looking to solve the world's Ennis's parking here, but I do have a specific question about accessible parking on the Main Street side. And then how we would go about adding another light to the north parking lot. There's one light in between buildings right now, but several people brought up, especially with that apartment building there, how dark it is on the northeast side. So yeah, if I can request an agenda item for next time, I'll do a little homework, talk to you all, and we can proceed then. Does that sound okay? That's all I have. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Planning for a large influx of children on Fridays. 'Cause I think they're not doing school.
They're not doing school on Friday. We're actually not planning on a large influx of school. So it's just my opinion is what's needed is all day care. And there are several entities in town that are offering all day events. But we are not set up to offer what really is needed at this point with it from a staffing standpoint. We're blocking off the community room on Fridays for family events. We'll have an organized morning program and an organized afternoon program that any of the other town, entities in town can come join us, and that anybody can come during the day and spend time, and we'll have activities set up back there. But I really don't think, I think we'll have people, but I don't think it'll be a huge influx. Saying that, I'll probably be wrong. Not that I said it out loud. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. All right, law enforcement, you have John's written. And Matt, like to. Would you like to? We just say he submitted it if there's any questions. So if you'd like to go, you may.
So most of you probably already read this, but I want to read it. And that's also why it was put in the public drive, because I'm reading it at a public meeting and we wanted it to be made public. Specifically, I did. I won't be answering questions, but I might elaborate at the end just a little bit. I know there's been a lot of talk in town about what specifically I'm talking about or what this means, so I'm not going to get too much into detail, but for those of you who haven't heard this, this is my resignation letter. It is directed towards my supervisor, which is Chief Moore. So it's me essentially talking to Chief Moore through a letter. So, dear Chief Moore, it is with heavy emotions that I submit my resignation from my position as police officer within the Ennis Police Department, effective December 26, 2023. While I have enjoyed my time working for the Ennis community and have the utmost respect for the talented and dedicated individuals working for the town, recent decisions made by the town council have compelled me to make this difficult decision. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the leadership and professionalism demonstrated by you during my tenure here. Under your guidance, the police department has consistently upheld the highest standards of service and commitment to the safety of our community. It is with regret that I observe the challenges faced by the police department as a result of recent attempted budgetary decisions made by the town council, particularly the decision to defund critical aspects of the police force in favor of other options. I'm directly talking about like hindering our budget being approved, in place of like an MOU not being signed. As someone who deeply values the importance of law enforcement in maintaining public safety, I find it increasingly difficult to align myself with an organization that faces such constraints. You have been an exemplary leader, and I commend your unwavering dedication to the well-being of our community. Your commitment to fostering a culture of excellence, accountability, and community engagement has left a lasting impression on me. Unfortunately, the recent political direction within the town council creates an environment that hampers the department's ability to fulfill its crucial role effectively. I believe that a well-supported and adequately staffed police force is essential for the safety and security of our community. Regrettably, the recent decisions by the town council run counter to these principles, making it unattainable for me to continue in my current role. I am grateful for the opportunities for professional and personal growth that I have experienced during my time with the Ennis Police Department. I will work diligently during the notice period to ensure a smooth transition, and I am open to assisting in any way possible. I sincerely hope that the town council will reconsider its recent decisions and prioritize the safety and well-being of our community members. I have the utmost confidence in your ability to navigate these challenges and lead the police department through these difficult times. Thank you for the support and opportunities provided during my tenure. So that's my letter. I wrote this. This is what I wanted to embody towards the chief when I resigned. Nobody had a part in this. This was my letter. And unfortunately, the environment that I'm faced with in my career makes it difficult to focus on my duties often when I'm worried about whether or not my position within the Ennis Police Department is going to go by, because we are going to be signing over potentially an MOU, or you guys were looking at an MOU as part of a compensation for the police department. But there was also talks about why is there 2 police officers, and it's not just you guys, it's within town as well. Why do we fund 2 police officers when the Madison County Sheriffs could handle it, that kind of stuff. But there's a lot more that needs to be looked at in that regard. That's my personal opinion. And I feel that my position is not secure. And that's the exact reason why I'm resigning. The police process to get into another position, it takes sometimes more than 6 months. And I'm not going to wait for my job to be taken from me and then struggle for that period of time when I'm looking for a new job. So I've decided that now is the time to move on. I'm not answering any questions. Thank you.
Don't have any pay increase and girlfriend. I think there were other aspects.
Public Works, Eric submitted his.
Yeah, he emailed it.
Yeah, he emailed it. I'll go over that with him.
Yeah, it needs to go in the packet.
Anything else for,
Decisions you guys
Have made.
have,
Mm-hmm.
which has caused so much of the angst.
all right. Susie, you're up.
I'm ready. I did one sign permit, one deck auxiliary building, one fence permit, 4 zoning site permits, Riverview, Charles, Ennis, and Clark Street. I'm continuing compliance with signs, fences, whatever they might be constructing. And working on updating the court files up to new standards, basically. And it's a lot of work, but it's gonna be very positive in the long run. That's pretty much it.
Next question.
Sure.
Is this duplex finished?
The top is not. Up and above,
Okay.
right across here, you mean?
Uh-huh.
It's not. When the light's just right, you can see in there. I kind of have a feeling there might be somebody living in the bottom portion.
Okay.
And no, I have not gone in and done an inspection.
Okay.
Maria brought that to my attention that I hadn't done that. But I guess I just need to schedule an appointment to go there. I think they need to be at a certain level first, because I don't know if I can go back more than once. We don't want to do inside inspections at all.
Right.
But we did put a caveat on that,
Yes.
so that they would not build 3 apartments. Right?
Right.
He says
Mm-hmm.
2.
I think it's only 1.
I thought it was 1. Yeah, so we should. So
We've seen enough that we know there's 2 hot water tanks. There's quite a few clues there. But I don't know when an appropriate time to go try to make an appointment to go there.
So what is it, kind of they did it, now they ask for forgiveness, or what happens? They have to tear it down? I mean, I don't.
No, I would assume they're in violation of the ordinances and would be probably, what's that?
Subject to fines.
Possibly, fines, citation, I'm not sure.
But something would have to be done, because then anybody could build something, and it would just be maybe subject to fines, so people could build whatever they want to build.
And
Whoa, a lot of conversation all at the same time.
yeah, I think Mr. Greenbaum's online. He probably can answer the more legal ones, but he would be in violation of his permit if he does.
Okay, but you plan to walk through at some point?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Across the street.
Yeah, if you're planning to do a walkthrough or something, who,
Well, I would never go
Contact.
by myself, so.
no, I mean, who to contact to set up the day
Yes.
and time and,
Yes.
okay.
Who would issue the citation?
And a space permit.
Okay.
Susie, this is Hardy. Can you clarify, I guess, the owner and what structure you're talking about?
We're talking about the structure right across from Town Hall on Pearl Street. Yeah, east of Town Hall. Thank you, Nikki.
John Heckler's structure?
Yeah. It kind of appears like there's a car. It appears there's a car there pretty much the majority of the time, but there's no activity upstairs, so that we can see. Anything else?
Can I ask a question? Is the dump is not part of your responsibility?
It is not.
I just noticed the advertising options now as you're driving in, you can put a sign up and advertise.
We do have the 1 mile jurisdiction, although we've never enforced it or taken that opportunity. Have the manpower to do so. Or want to. What's it say? Call Bob? I haven't seen it.
Oh,
All right, any other questions for Susie for before she gets to step down?
Yes, I have.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Susie, for clarification, because I've gone through the book, are flappy signs allowed or not?
Floppy signs?
Flappy, like,
the flag signs.
yeah.
They are?
Feather signs, I think they're called.
Oh,
Are you talking about the coffee shop signs?
I'm not saying anything. Someone asked me a question.
They are?
Are you talking about the ones you pull it up and they dance?
No, the ones that, oh, it looks like a feather.
narrow with
Thank you for the
And I guess I have a question. Blinking signs, flashing signs, do you only address those on complaints?
No. If I see them, I will address them.
And the chamber was approached because of a complaint, is that correct?
I saw it.
Oh, I thought you said it was a complaint. Okay, because there's several other in town, just.
Not that I've seen, but I've certainly.
I'm not.
I've been to a lot of places in town.
And Susie can't have coffee in several places in town and lunch and other things.
No, you're-
And you're a legislative body if there is something that you find, I mean, if there was a reason for that. I have a different take as neuroscience, and I see exactly what you're saying because when I drive through town, I can't tell is that sign on or not really in some of them. So, and with, yeah, they're all the same size, all the same thing, and I, yeah, can't tell if they're on or off.
Like 22 pages long.
Well, it's probably a good thing then you're not in charge of that job. And Susie is, because she can see them blinking.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Obviously, I'm missing some. I better make a couple trips.
All right, the blinking.
I know, I've already seen you, right?
Me too.
All right.
Ginger.
Or any other questions for Susie?
Thank you, Susie.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Sorry, I did not get my report sent out from you.
Sorry. Just one quick question for Susie, sorry. So you're waiting to hear from the direction of Mr. Greenbaum about going across the street, is that right?
No, it is a condition of the permit. And I said that he could maybe ask Mr. Greenbaum about whoever asked the question. I don't even remember what the question was now, but maybe he could answer.
Repercussions.
I mean, just my thought is if somebody's already moved in there, it's probably time. I would think. Squash it while it's.
Well, no, he has permitted for one. He can have one living dwelling unit there, however you say that, one dwelling unit.
So you have to do an inspection before they get a certificate of occupancy.
We don't issue
We don't do that. Should.
And we do not typically do an inspection. The only thing,
Just trust that it's gonna be.
they have to get their permits from. No, he had to get a variance, and they made it the condition of his variance that it could only be a one
Single family.
single family dwelling.
It's 8 bedrooms though.
How many? 8?
Before it was started, you got the
Three, 3 and 2.
No,
No,
it was started.
It was brought to the planning board of adjustments. So there was some issue.
You have a few of them sitting.
Right. Others? Now can she run?
Well, I didn't answer Tina's
So, yeah, I
question.
guess
Oh.
what the question, so now,
When am I going?
should we be told?
I don't know if I have a good answer for that question. I kind of was, my thoughts were it needed to be, he might purposely be, I don't want him to make it sound like devious, but I kind of think it is. Like a good point where he's out in the project that it's obvious. If I wouldn't inspect it too early and there's nothing framed any, it's clearly just looks like a single family dwelling, then I'm not going back
Right.
and he continues to construct.
But could the town go back if they were suspicious of it being a multi-family?
I don't know.
I don't know. This
I
is
don't know.
new. I mean, I think this is the first time we've had zoning board of adjustments in a minute.
And now we have
Kind of
I'd
the
say
new
it's
to
liable
us.
if he brought false pretenses to what was given to him.
But will you pull the
Yeah.
original from the zoning board of adjustments and we'll go over it?
I already did. I already have it. His file's sitting out. Because Maria brought it to my attention just to remind me, which was great, because I did not remember to do that. I'll send you- I won't go home.
Okay. We'll arrange a
so will that
visit.
happen before the next town council?
That's going to depend on when we can schedule all of them together, but, and if that, like, again, I'm like, have I seen an appliance delivered? How many appliances have I seen delivered?
No.
So I guess it sounds like it might be time, so I'll work on that. I can't guarantee it'll happen.
Oh, but I was asking about setting precedents if you let that fly or don't tear it down. That's what you were talking about Green Law a while ago.
I think there's a lot of ifs before there's a real legitimate answer. You can say something before it's been inspected and that's not fair to the person next door. Maybe they have a really giant jacuzzi tub that needs 2 hot water heaters. I want one. I would have come with an on-demand hot water. Well, I want one too. All right, back to Ginger. I already checked your
All right,
box
sorry.
and then I didn't. Oh. You may.
Okay. Normal duties plus starting right now on calendar year end stuff and getting set up for the new year as far as my payroll books, etc. That's really about it. Any questions? Are you guys satisfied with what I'm sending out as far as the finances and stuff?
Yes, I am.
I really appreciated that you sent me extra information because it was so much easier to read. I really appreciate that.
Extra information?
Yeah, in our file.
Oh, okay. But I meant, Craig had asked for it and I know that it needed to be done prior to that even. But I wanted to make sure that that was what you were looking for.
Yes.
Yes?
Like, yeah, the bank statements, cash reports, on top of claims. Yes, I appreciated that.
Okay. It's blocked.
Oh, I didn't catch that. We probably should black that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on probably
The
checks too. I mean, but yeah.
the full,
Yeah.
where is the full number?
Very top of my account number,
Yeah, let's not repeat that.
number city check.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry. I blanked
It's
out
on
the
the
one
checks too.
in the upper right-hand corner.
On the expenditure report, is there any way to make it to show what percent has been used, what percent is left, or either of those options?
Yeah, my main reason for asking for that, Ginger, wasn't necessarily like, you know, for public,
Thank you.
for public viewing, but rather just to ensure that, you know, the claims that come across our desk for signature and so on, that, you know, sufficient funds, there's not going to be any issue with, you know,
So
funds
you're
in
okay with
place
the
and so on.
percentage breakdown?
Okay.
And
So if
That's-
I just give you
It
amounts?
could be high, yeah, it could be very high level. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
as detailed.
Okay.
Uh,
And yeah, and were you done, Craig?
yes.
Okay. Nikki, in answer to your question, when I do checks and stuff and do that update on the budget, that is where it shows percentages and whatnot. And I print those off for all department heads. I can certainly fire it off to you guys too.
I think that would be helpful just to see what the percentage used and the percentage.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like tomorrow I will do checks if you approve the claims tonight. And then I will run new reports that will show where we're at with the budget.
Okay.
So, and when I do those for the departments, I'll just fire the entire thing off to you guys as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
all right, legal.
Good evening, Mayor Nikki Haas and commissioners, members of the public. James Greenbaum, town attorney. I'd like to follow up with where Susie left off with zoning. And there was a complaint that originated back in April, which we resolved, that had to do with signs, 2 commercial signs that were located off premises. So the gentleman who owned those signs voluntarily decided to take them down, and the matter will be resolved most likely on Monday before Judge Jordan Allhands. So that's on the zoning aspect. As far as criminal law goes, it's very sad to see Matt Fisher leave. You know, obviously, I mean, he made his comments. All I can tell you is that he was a tremendous resource, still is a tremendous resource for the town of Ennis. He's done an excellent job doing his patrol, his reports, everything. And, you know, you might not even be aware, he wrote 2 DUI tickets. Those were arrests. Those occurred this year. He was involved in an eluding and a pursuit. I watched the video. It was kind of thing that you'd see on YouTube, where, you know, cops. Very, very interesting patrol and stop and, you know, spinning around and heading after somebody with the lights on. They tried to evade him, went into the storage unit area with their lights off, and he was successful in tracking them down and making that arrest as well. And, or traffic stop, I should say. The dog park. Okay, so the dog park lease agreement, I had the occasion to speak with Dave Heaney on Monday. Nice gentleman. Obviously, he has a lot of history with the town. And so we had a very good conversation about moving that forward. Sent him a bunch of emails and some updates on some of the language that we'd like to see in the lease, at least from the standpoint of making it, legally sufficient and compliant with our Municipal Insurance Association requirements as well. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm looking forward to engaging in maybe a face-to-face discussion with Dave and getting that wrapped up as soon as possible. Then I could just tell you, like, very basically, I know this is kind of a sore subject, but the sheriff interlocal agreement, MOU, however you want to describe it, it's not an easy situation to navigate when the sheriff is not responding, not providing the information that Mayor Nicky has requested for probably 6 months or better. And I tell you what, it basically boils down to trying to figure out where these numbers come from and why the town of Ennis is being treated very differently from Virginia City, Twin Bridges, and Sheridan. In 2018 to 2023, the town of Ennis paid Madison County Sheriff's Office, Madison County, $24,732 over a course of 5 years. $24,732 over a course of 5 years. That was based on a 1 mil or 1.5, 1 mil times 1.5 officers, because you had a part-time officer. Then during 1 year, you had 1 officer, so it was 1 mil per officer. And then in 2022 and 23, obviously Matt Fisher joined the force, so the 1 mil times 2 officers, so the amount paid to the county was approximately $7,000 per each of those years. Now, as the town attorney, I don't get involved necessarily in the budget crunching, bean counting numbers the way the commission, the mayor, your town clerk would do. But it comes to me as some surprise that over a course of 5 years for the sheriff's services, it was on average $5,000 a year. How does that go to $215,000? That's the big question that I think that needs to be answered as you go forward. So with Mayor Nicky's permission, I drafted up a request for the records that supports where these numbers are coming from and why Ennis is being singled out and treated in a very different manner. Excuse me. So we're hoping, that we'll get the information, and then you guys can, look at whatever agreement it is that Mayor Nicky is able to negotiate with the sheriff in the county. And that's basically the sum and substance of that.
All right, thank you, James.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, sorry.
I was wondering if you were able to track down my email, if that was confirmed to be forwarded to you, or how you saw my email as of last meeting that you replied to. I filled out a records request, but I've yet to hear anything, Mr. Greenbaum.
So my recollection is that I asked through email to you directly, please tell me exactly which things you were inquiring about, and then I didn't hear back from you.
No, I didn't receive an email. I didn't email from you. At the last meeting, I had asked the mayor and Ginger a couple of questions before the meeting, and they both said that neither of them had forwarded those questions to you. Yet somehow I received a response from you. So my question was, were you reading the emails? You said yes. And then you said you would look into it, because I requested that you have an answer of how you saw the emails by the end of last meeting. And you weren't able to do that. So I'm following up to see how it was possible that you read my emails if they were not forwarded to you.
Well, I never said that they were not forwarded to me. They were shared with me through the town's administration.
The mayor and Ginger both said that neither of them forwarded them to you. They were not addressed to you. One was addressed to Mayor Haas, one was addressed to Ginger.
Right. And you
They were
do
not
realize that when you send out an email, that's a public record. So I review public records, and sometimes public records are
Where's your
sent to
public
me.
records request though? I filled out a public records request.
I don't have to make a public records request to see emails that are brought to my attention.
Who brought them to your attention, and if I could please ask? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, the IT administrator.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your answer. I appreciate that.
Sure, no problem.
So,
We
Is that
got
not
big issues.
well, so we'll get it to, I'll go over some stuff in my mayor's report because it's been 1 month and a long time with Derek Shepard from MMIA, which is the HR related guy. So,
Can I make a little? Karina with the Lions Club. I just wanted to make a little clarification. I believe Mr. Greenbaum said that it was a lease for the dog park.
yeah.
And it's actually we're working on a lease for the entire Lions Park. When that is cleared up, we will move on to the dog park.
Correct.
So just
Yes, that's correct. It is a lease for the entire park, and the dog park is part of that lease. Yes, that's correct. Sorry if I misspoke.
no worries, just making sure it was clear.
All right, commission report. I guess we start with where in the world is Corey Hardy? Corey.
Xin Chao. I am in Saigon, Vietnam, at my fantastic host's house, Sam Korsmo, who was a longtime resident of Ennis, Montana. He he used to work with Robin Blazer on the Madison Valley Economic Development Council. So he's quite knowledgeable about the Madison Valley, but is pursuing other avenues here in Ho Chi Minh City, being an author of multiple books and teaching classes here as well. But I guess, yeah, the majority of the issues that we're talking about with the town that create or points of contention, if you will, require money. And that's what it all comes down to. It's like, where are we going to come up with the money for this or money for that? And it's all about the accountability of where those funds come from. And I've been talking for years about resort tax or tax reform for that matter. And I think my rhetoric from here on out is just going to be just that. I think it's super important to acknowledge that we're surrounded by 3 communities, Big Sky, West Yellowstone, and Virginia City, that all have functioning tax tools in place. West Yellowstone actually has 2 of these in place. It has, and my host Sam Korsmo put in place what's called Tourist Business Improvement District, which basically asks all of the motels in the area to ultimately they will form a board and kind of voluntarily increase their rates, and those monies go towards a a certain cause. In the case of West Yellowstone, the call for this was these monies at $1 per room, which generated $200,000 to $300,000. And this is a handful of years ago. But that was to supplement the school bond. West Yellowstone having a similar demographic to what we have in Ennis, Montana, with an aging population where people are not on board with spending or increasing their property taxes to go towards like betterment of the school, I guess, if you will. I think we've had, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 votes on school bond issues in the past few years, and they've all been voted down. And the school is basically they did just put up a teacher housing unit, which is actually a structure on a foundation. But I think other options, I guess, as far as classroom, are going to probably require some sort of modular structure to be brought in for that. But ultimately, I guess the long and the short of it, I keep going back to resort tax for a reason, because we live in a resort town with a resort community, and so many of these issues could be taken care of if we were to all actively move forward as a group, with 3 examples of it working all around us. It's like, what more do we need? I guess, as far as, well, will this work or not? If it's presented in a professional manner, I don't see how anyone could not want to move forward with it. And that is all that I have.
Thank you, Corey. When do you make your return?
I will be back on the 22nd. I am a day behind you guys, 14 hours behind you, I believe. So, yeah, so I'll be back in time for Christmas. I'll be back in time for Christmas.
What day is it, Corey?
What day is it today? Today is 10 o'clock in the morning, December 15th, Friday.
Oh,
Actually,
So
I'm
he's a whole day ahead of
so
us.
you're ahead of us.
Yeah, that is
All right.
correct.
Thank you, Corey. I hope you're enjoying your
Yeah.
trip and that you bring something good back, like pictures, something.
Postcards and green tea.
Sweet.
The town should be receiving a postcard here probably in a week. So
Look forward to it. Love last year's. All right, Commissioner Bullerton, you're up.
Pass, come back to me.
What?
Oh, pass, come back to me. Oh.
I'm pretty sure I can.
All right, Commissioner Hankins.
Okay. I'm just gonna speak my mind and how I feel. I understand that Matt stood and said that the reason that it was made public comment so he could read his letter. I just feel like there's other reasons. I'm sure he got a pay increase when he left. I've also heard that he has a girlfriend in Three Forks. So for that entire letter to be pointed at us, I feel we're not all to blame. Nothing has been decided. I'm just a little bit sad that that's the way he chose to leave things. I guess I'm just going to go back to the no communication. I'm continually frustrated. I haven't received an email from the mayor in over a month. I've asked questions. I just throw things out there, and I have not received one email. I received one forwarded email. That's the way I would prefer to communicate. It would make sense because there's a paper trail that obviously anybody can see. I don't understand. Not everybody can take Mondays and come in here. And I'm sorry I haven't called. I didn't know that we were supposed to call to check in. I just am continually frustrated about the lack of communication. The agenda today was not completely put together. I had to reach out and request information, and I don't think that was in a timely manner. If we have an agenda, I think we need to make sure that everything on the agenda is there for the commissioners to research and do their homework and read, and so we're not looked and being called idiots and like we don't know what we're doing. I was wondering if there was a time clock. I believed when we started first discussing the budget, we asked for a time clock for town employees to clock in and clock out of.
Not had that. We can look at that. We didn't.
We
Budget
discussed
for
it.
it.
Am I wrong?
I remember
recall
something,
having
but-
a conversation about requesting
I
time
do remember her bringing that up at the very first meeting that we had.
at the budget meeting, maybe in September. So I was just wondering about that. Is there been any progress or training for the water billing, or is it still a?
Okay.
Okay.
I got some stuff.
Okay. And I guess with the IT administrator choosing to show emails, I would like to look elsewhere for IT. That's just, obviously I have nothing to hide. It's a town account. I have nothing. That is, I don't think there was any reason for that to be forwarded. I just don't. It's obviously not secure. And Manhattan doesn't even have an IT budget, so I'm just frustrated that for $24,000 was the budget, and just seems to me that there's no actual, maybe no need to have one. I feel like it could be figured out for less than that. And I have more, but I will leave it at that.
Commissioner Allison?
This just came up. It wasn't really on my notes, but yeah, I think that's an HR issue, potentially. Chief of police, and maybe you're going to talk about all this. It seems like you got a whole list of things, and you're going to talk about that, because I don't think that's right either. And we can play it however we want, but John Moore sharing emails with our town attorney, I mean, anyways, there's an issue there. I think it needs to be probably looked at by HR. And I find it really hard to believe he has time to be doing that, honestly, with everything he's got going. And honestly, I didn't have a whole lot I wanted to know about Maria's position. I'm not hearing a whole lot. In town, I sit at that crosswalk that people are speeding by all the time, but I brought that up last time. The other thing is, I just want on the record that I back the blue, and I'm totally for law enforcement. And I think this is my last meeting. So, is that true?
Holy crap.
I think my last day is December 31st. And along with that, have you posted, or have there been letters
So
of
the
interest?
letter is prepared to go into the papers for a 2-week run. I looked it over for.
It's posted, it should be posted on our
Website.
on Facebook. I sent it down to the library.
Yes. So her term she has filled the term that she, yeah.
So, and then on that note, if I'm not going to be at another meeting, I just want to say thank you. It's been an experience to serve our town, and I'm not going anywhere, but I just am not going to be in this seat.
Thank you very much.
Is this my last meeting?
It is.
Okay.
Tina,
It
I
is
did
now.
have a question on this DOT on the crosswalk. And they could paint it a certain time of year, the asphalt temperature has to be a certain degree in order to take the paint. It is slated to be painted in the spring when it warms.
Yeah, and I also, well, your brother, right? Bud? Is Bud your brother? What's that relationship?
Yeah.
No? Bud Peterson? I spoke to him because obviously he's retired from Department of Transportation. Anyhow, he said they're very shorthanded. So there's a lot of things going on with that. But that is a very dangerous spot. Have you been almost run over? I've been almost run over.
Well, we talked about the Lions Club doing the little orange sign things. Where are we at on that? Sorry, this isn't my spot to talk.
Susan, remind me, since you're the DOT person, can we do it on their highway? Okay.
I think I asked the question, but I honestly do not remember that.
Okay.
It was not.
It wasn't like, that's a great idea, let us give you some flags and flashy lights. No.
They do that in Jackson. Not that we want to be Jackson.
Crossing guard.
All right, but anyways, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Abernathy.
Okay,
Go, Craig.
mine's just gonna be I'll give you an update on the planning board meeting that we had this past Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
It was very well attended again. 6 of the 7 of us were there. Everybody's very enthusiastic actually about getting this growth policy updated and getting things underway. So just as a FYI, Lyndon will probably be contacting you to set up a schedule with Kelly.
Yep.
Lynch. Okay.
He already sent me an email for training dates.
Okay, excellent. Other than that, our plan is to really reach out to the community, not just send out mailers, but even, go to different groups like the Lions Club for feedback and, in the chamber and so on. There is talk about, it sounds like we probably will do something on Facebook to get some input as well. So we'll see how that goes. 'Cause, yeah, I'm sure.
Suck it up.
So where we're at right now with that is we went over a bunch of questions, the old questionnaire, some questionnaires that were sent out from other communities and stuff for their growth policy, and we're in the process of just compiling one, kind of shrinking it down and making it more Ennis specific. So we hope to have that ready and for review on or before our next meeting, which is January 9th. So it'll be Tuesday the 9th here at 6:15. Will be the next planning board meeting. That's really all I've got. It was a good meeting. They usually last a couple hours. They're not tremendously long.
Thank you guys for still tackling that. The growth policy is no small task, but hopefully some resources.
I'm gonna make mine quick.
Okay.
Okay. So where are we at with the training? Because I know that we talked about it last month about doing training. So
That's
that
all
we,
of mine.
I knew what it was. That's why I was asking. I'm like, I know it's on there. I am sad to see Matt go. I am disappointed with his letter. I do think that he attacked the town council, and I don't think it was deserved. Thanks would have been nice. And moving forward, I am in favor of law enforcement. I do not want to get rid of my police department. I would like to go back and find out whether or not we could talk with the sheriff's department and see if we have a law enforcement officer, if we can knock down those mills, and then would we have enough money? And can we, by any chance, have Officer Moore working evenings? And is there a way to, and I'm just throwing it out there, to do away with the SRO? I know it ends 2024.
This spring.
Well, yeah,
yes.
it comes
It's
up
not the
again.
end of, it's in May.
When school's out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last day of school or whatever it is.
But if we're gonna do that, then we kind of need to have somebody working. Yeah, that really needs to kind of be his focus. And
We're already hiring for a second.
we have had, we have had people come and approach us and are interested in other positions, such as the attorney position. We have multiples for that. And what was the other ones?
Where do we, IT?
Oh, IT. We also have people interested in doing IT for us.
So where do we get the information or send them for information?
They can, the applications are on the town website. Yes.
But can't they at least get job description, compensation, some kind of information about it if they are interested in that?
Yeah, you can come in and ask for the job descriptions like
Okay, that would have been easily sent in an email, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
it's pretty easy to come in and request what you want. Ginger's
Email too.
right there.
Anyway, I don't want to drag this on because I know you don't feel good. So, yeah, I'm sorry to see Matt go. That's really sad. It really is. That's all I have. Thank you.
Not the job descriptions. There's the application, just a general application.
Um,
That was a while ago.
I did make a request for some kind of a, in an email, you mean?
Oh, I don't know about email, but I did it in the meeting. You want to see the policy book, but I don't think the job descriptions are in there anyways. I don't know.
They're not.
Do we have a book for job descriptions? I know that we were working on it.
I mean, as of this evening, we see that there's definitely a conflict of interest with our chief of police being our IT.
Okay. Now, my suggestion to the council is that if you are going to pursue this line and where you would like to go with it, I would strongly recommend contacting Derek Shepard at MMIA. The reason for some of the non-sending emails is he very specifically said, until you have confirmation on anything, you never say anything. You never ever put a speculation unless you have a factual document in front of you. So saying, I heard through the rumor mill this, until there is an official document received by staff, you may not share any other information. That is what HR specialist at MMIA that is in charge of keeping liability, which is us and everybody else, as a reduction to the town. So, and other than I think sewer, there was a long talk about sewer at the mayor's conference and how that there's a whole bunch of that's why rates go up. The other one that they talk a lot about is HR related. Those are big liabilities, and so you don't just react in an HR. I think Derek now we're best friends. I call him. I'm like, I'll call you when I have a question every other day these days. Can I share this email? Do I do this? Do I do that? If you have a question, especially regarding these types of things, I would contact Derek. I'm like, I'm going to send you some letters, have you look over them, emails. What's your take on this situation? What is the most appropriate? He is an HR specialist. I am not. Now, with that in mind, the HR specialist will be here January 22nd. So if you would like to come down, he's scheduled that Monday for mostly department heads. There's a lot that we're going to cover because when we went through the applications and I went through and scored all the applications, the very first thing in bold on our application says no applications will be accepted that are incomplete. Now, if I'm actually to follow the rules, what the paperwork says, I got to throw out 8 of 9 applications. And I think that's crud because there were some really great candidates in there. And so called him up, said, what is your take on this? He said, I would take that out, add interview questions, whatever. He's going to do a specific training just on applications, red flag applications, things to look for, this, that, and the other for all any and all the department heads that would like to join. As I don't hire all the spots, you know what I'm saying? He has
Nikki,
anything else. He
Nikki,
can cover it. Mr. Greenbaum.
in your charter, at chapter 1, section 6-8, A and B, prohibitions. Neither the commission nor any of its members may dictate the appointment or removal of any employee whom the mayor or any part of his or her subordinates are empowered to appoint. So Part B of that states further, except for the purpose of inquiry or investigation under the charter or town ordinances, the commission or its members shall deal with town employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the mayor solely through the mayor. Now, I don't know, but I just heard something here in the public meeting about possibly replacing the town administrator. That to me is not going through the mayor. That's going through a public meeting process. Discussing in a public meeting process the possible replacement of a town employee is not something that is consistent, in my opinion, with the prohibitions which I just read right out of your town code and charter. That's all I have to say on that. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Well, that's a good start of doing everything like we should. We'll start with that.
there's that opportunity for training on the 20th for multiple reasons, including the whole HR thing.
Who's the town administrator? That he's referring to?
I think IT administrator is what he meant, but he's frustrated.
I thought it was a new position.
That'll come. Still keep it on your radar. Okay.
You're the town administrator.
Just a minute. No. Okay, so, and I also have an email into the MSU local government office with
Yes,
Ashley
that is correct.
and.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're correct. I meant the IT administrator. Thank you.
Oh, we.
Okay. So, planning board as well is looking at, that's what Lyndon sent me, a meeting with, or a training with MSU. So I would like to push that towards the, end of January. So that once you choose the next person to sit in that seat, they can be part of that training because we're a ways away from our spring stuff.
Do we have anybody interested?
I don't know. We just posted everything today.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. So that's going to be MMIA, MSU, and then when Kelly Lynch comes down. So Kelly Lynch is the league director, and she is also a level 1 planner, and she is also an attorney, and she is, I mean, like, she's got the letters. So if you have questions, it's an amazing opportunity to get and sit down and talk to her. You can ask her more budget questions. Her and Darla are probably like who I ask most questions from. So as soon as we have her date for sure, I'll let you know. Okay. So that's kind of the training look at things. What else? I reviewed the T&D agreement for the fuel islands. Had multiple suggestions, corrections. One official statement document. Just got a revised version. That late Monday afternoon. I think at like 5 or 4, something like that. So I'm making sure that all the requirements that you see in the public hearing are met in the T&D agreement. So, what else? There was the Lions Club. I want to total my hours for that. Me and Dave hung out for a total of 6 hours. Me and Dave hanging out here in this room.
When is that due?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I like it as the
I'm
least
glad
better.
we're focused on that.
Okay. Dave Haney, that was it. Which then leads to a discussion with Mr. Greenbaum and then back to Dave Haney and back and forth and back and forth. So if you want to figure out hours for it, it's been a little bit. So, and then worked on 595. Sorry, I didn't get it to you sooner. And same with the rural application. Could have just forwarded that straight from Karen. So when I do forward things and you think that they aren't important, I know that it can appear that way at once. The item that you referred to as junk mail that was forwarded to you had a reference to the HB 355. It also has a forestry grant. It also has an upcoming connection and link for January 4th for the town hall meeting for HB 819, which is strictly grant funding for planning resources, and where we're looking at a growth policy that would fit in there and we would not have to use as much, because growth policy is typically like a water PER or a wastewater where it is $30,000 to $40,000. So while I know it doesn't seem like something that's super exciting, those are important emails to look at and see what's there. I can't handle all of it all at once. If there's more of us, we could review more of them. So I try and send them out, look at them, but especially when it's a grant funding resources and there's multiple different timelines. So it is important that you look at them. I don't know what all the league, if you are on the league's listserv or not, or if it's repetitive. I know I get multiple things from different places, but please open those. Please look at those. If you have questions, let me know. Usually Mondays, and Karen, you're actually on my New Year's resolution. I make, I know, new. I make Monday rounds, so I try and make sure that I talk to each department head. What's the projects? What are you foresee coming? What's coming on? That's standard of every Monday. If you're going to be gone, where you're going to be gone, stuff like that. Last Monday, to follow up, so we adopted our PER kind of officially. But with that, we changed our funding scenario. So, and I wanted to know our timeline because I knew that these things were long and drawn out. So, after sitting with Joel and Colette, this is the important take home. We need to have a contract, which you will have to review for them to write the grant applications for MSEP and to help us with our loan funding. Okay, so they are in the works of drafting a contract for your review for next month, hopefully, because getting back to our fund deadlines, and I didn't think they were actually this close because I was thinking next legislative session, but everything for MSEP has to be in by May of this spring. So, and to be eligible for MSEP, first we have to hold another water engineering report public hearing, since we've changed the final funding option on how we're going to approach it. So I'd like to schedule that for February 8th. And then after that, you have to hold a separate public hearing, and they even prefer two, specifically on the MSEP grant itself. It gets you a higher ranking, so I'm sure there's a score point on that grant. So if you hold multiple public hearings for both your water, which we did, we held the two, but then a third, and then multiple on MSEP, it'll help us with that application process. And then they'll have that grant, it has to be submitted by May. I think it's mid-May of the spring, and then it'll be that like sit and wait, because we won't hear officially until the next legislative session finishes up. So in the meantime, we'll be working on trying to figure out the land and Montana Coal Endowment Program. Sorry. So that's kind of the timeline that we have to keep on. And then to be eligible for it, we have to show that we're going to meet our target rate by the end of project completion. So if things all go well and we say we get the grant and everything's picture perfect, this, that, and the other, Joel predicted that the project would be done maybe late fall of 2026. So we have to achieve our water rate increase between now and fall of 2026. So Joel and Colette are going to work with us to start preparing for the public hearings. They're very specific process and dates and how many days you can be apart, and trying to keep us in line on that. And we'd like to do those hearings between June and September of this next year. I wanted to do them when everybody was back in town, because you have to send out to every water user when we do this process. So that gives us that time period where most of our winter birds are here. So they have the ability to be here for that water rate increase. So that total target rate increase is looking at like $16 based on our funding options and how water. So that would have to be divvied up between now and 2026. Okay, that's what I know. I wish I had fabulous news that it was like $3.50, but no. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell. So the contract should be ready for you to review next month. We'll have to have a public hearing officially for the lease for the Lions Club and for HB 355. You have to hold public hearing and submit the comment to be eligible for that grant. So again, they record the town hall meetings. That's what they call them, that the league puts together. Click on them. They're quick, easy, condensed versions to figure it out and what we can and cannot do without extra help. The MSEP and everything else is way beyond us. We're going to have a grant. We need help. I think that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, I was definitely at 50% this month at best. So really, if you reach out and say, is there anything I can do to help? specific question. If you want a paper trail, okay, but yes.
So did they suggest starting over, or you could use those?
I'm gonna send it to Derek on Monday, but he said definitely like immediately revise that first page. And then I was like, can I revise it? Or is that a policy? Or is that a camping permit that has to be? It's not a contract, so I think I can revise it without council approval. I'm gonna do it. Like I talked to Derek and I'm like, he agreed. You just change your interview questions based on the incompleteness. Goodbye. Just that and the other. So he gave me a whole bunch of questions to add to the interview for that reason.
It's not a scenario. I mean, obviously you should complete an application, but the scenario isn't that they've attached their resume and all that
It's
info.
various all the way across the board. So you're like, did your dog eat page number, whatever?
But we can go back and reach out to them.
We can.
Sorry, no, we're good.
So I don't know when the last time that application was looked at. And it's our application for everything. Whether you're a judge, if you want to fill one out, it's quite entertaining. I mean, it's very basic, and I'd rather just have an attached resume than go through that application, honestly.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe the information that was not on there was on the resume, and they would have still been.
And then I see both points to it, because at the same time, when you are trying to equally score something and you have resumes that have somebody may have included like the type of equipment that they've used and one doesn't, does that mean that I need to call each person and say, like, do you know how to use a fax machine? Do you know how to run the copier? Have you run a copier of like that? Or have you run multiple line phone system? Have you run, I mean, there's some stuff, it's just all over the board in that, but you try and compare apples to apples when scoring an application. That was the whole overall goal of the application, was making sure that you were judging them on the same criteria, that there's no bias. I go through those applications, I know a whole lot of these people, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, I can't call them up and be like, hey, my buddy, this is some advice. I'm staying neutral in the scoring pattern. Does that make sense? I don't like how the application is written because it makes it, you're supposed to throw the first 8 out, actually. So right off the bat, no, did I throw 8 pages or 8 applications out because they were incomplete? No, they're all still here. I still said we should all score them, kind of ignoring that first part and add a question or two to the interview. So that's the plan. But they're not, I mean, we use the same application for the judge, literally, as entry-level public works. And I feel like yeah, see, make that face. I just think there's some great room for improvement and probably less frustration on any party on both sides if that was improved into something more current. Okay? All right. That's all I have that I can think of. Okay, and I've added these here. All right. Claims? Unscheduled matters. I have a circle with other things, but we'll be here. Okay.
Anybody else have any unscheduled matters? You said you do?
I have a question for the council as far as scheduling. So the Thursday, the 4th is the deadline for, applications for letters of interest for commission seat. Would you like to hold a separate meeting for that interview process? I think that's what we did before.
It was before.
It was before a meeting and then you jumped right into a meeting?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think so. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know, we did it with both of you. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah, it was
Right.
before a meeting.
It was.
Yeah, it actually was. Yeah, it was. It was.
Then-
It was before a
Well,
meeting.
you guys
Well, now that
did a
you've been
recess and
outside,
went.
we should have used the paper if you were a new person that was potentially, would you like it a separate night or?
I think maybe mine was separate because there was 3 of us and I feel like we met.
It was before, I think it was before me.
You
I
did-
think it was.
It was
I'm
both.
pretty sure it was.
I know it was for you
So-
because it was you and Ted.
Right.
But it was for you because it was you and Molly.
It
And
was you.
Craig.
Right.
Oh yeah, and the Red Bear Inn guy.
But
Right.
I didn't remember a meeting after, sorry.
That's because you were so stressed out, you blacked it out. Instantly thrown to the wolves with it, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
no.
Is that actually a concern? Like,
So
because
Did you start early at 5 o'clock? Yeah, I had to be here at 5 if I remember correctly.
I think I had to be here early when I was sworn in, but
I think we did it like
the appointment.
5:30.
well, all the letters will be in on the 4th. Do you want it on the 11th? Or,
I think doing it on the 11th, the regular scheduled meeting, is fine. Because in all reality,
I think so.
whoever we
It's good
hire
enough for
should be
us.
qualified and they should be attending
they're
meetings.
not sworn in
and part of
anyway,
the-
so, I mean, they're not sworn in anyway.
Yeah. Just have it.
And that can't get, well, I guess you can give them all the packet information ahead of time, but it's not, I guess,
We can print it off.
do you need to be sworn in before you can vote? Yes. So the 11th?
Yes,
Yes.
I think so.
Interview, okay. All right, anything else?
Move to approve claims.
Second.
Question.
Okay.
Why did James Greenbaum's fiscal year wage adjustment, why did that increase?
It goes back to the July 1, like. the rest
Yeah.
of us.
Okay. Because we approved the budget and
Mhm.
increased? Got it. That's all I got.
Nikki, on last month's claims, you had a question about the water testing because it was higher than we'd seen. There are monthly tests, annual tests, 3-year tests, which is what that one was. And there's also 9-year tests.
Wouldn't that
I'm like,
be one of the
I mean,
3-year tests?
they have to be taken, and that, never mind. You smart. All right, any other questions on claims?
What's her name? It's turn to vote.
All
Huh?
right,
Tina.
I wasn't asked yet. Aye.
Craig. Corey.
I
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
She gets it.
Second.
Wow.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to Craig.
Craig.
Aye.
Corey.
I
Aye.
I have,
I think Carla's gonna be the next one to run. Okay, give it to me, give it to me. I do want to know how this goes.
I did it.
Sweet. In my house. I have.
Feel better, okay. It's fine.
There's gonna be two songs.
I'll just look at the commission.
yeah. You still have blank orders? That's a giant one. No, I don't. I lied.
Oh. No, that chair. I asked Ennis and then I said.
You got that one, huh?
You're not allowed.
Did you take the batteries out?
No. Did you put that chair away?
Is that supposed to put soft chairs for the backyard?
Is there an extra file folder in there?
Probably needs to be. That works the other way.
So we lost Carol's useless management.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, thank you.
I'll return it.
Oh, you're right.